All right. I know people probably trickle in for the next minute or two, but let's go ahead and get started because we do
Let's
have a
do it.
lot to cover.
Sure.
So I'm Michelle. I am one of our customer success specialists here at PushPress, also the owner of a functional fitness gym in South Jersey called Thrive Fitness. And I'm joined today with Rudy Trevino of the Fit Stop, who is also a teammate of mine at PushPress. And we are talking all things advertising and marketing today. I think, honestly, I'm so excited about this fireside chat because I think there's a ton of helpful and relevant content that people are going to be able to walk away with and put into practice today and hopefully, soon. So they'll be able to get something from it. Let me give you guys an overview of how we're going to go through this so we're all on the same page. I'm going to go through a series of questions with Rudy, like an interview style, just to get a little bit of background on how he started this process, what it's looked like for him, and what his experience has been. And then Rudy has been kind enough to volunteer some of his current campaign information with us, which we will go through. Then I'll probably open the floor up for questions from you guys. So if you want to pick his brain, you can drop them into the Q&A section. We talked about possibly going into some of his sales process. Let's play that by ear and see where we are with time. I do want to give people the opportunity to ask questions. So if we do have a few minutes to spare, definitely want to make sure we're being respectful of the rest of your day. We can possibly go into that. Sound good? Thanks, Rudy, for doing this. All right. So before we jump into the actual questions, tell us a little bit about the gym, how long it's been around, what you guys do, some of that good stuff.
Yeah, so we're a CrossFit gym in San Antonio, Texas. We will celebrate our 9th year in August.
It's awesome.
And, it's kind of the typical CrossFit story. I was a gym rat and was bored and would go from this gym to that gym to that gym looking for motivation, and I eventually saw the CrossFit Games on ESPN. That must have been like 2009 maybe, and I was like, I want to do that, and there were no places around. But eventually I found a place in 2011. I started doing it. I fell in love. I saw that the business model was repeatable, and I was like, we're going to do that one day. And in 2014, my wife, she left her job, and there was a little place right around the corner. It was 1,200 square feet, including restrooms and showers and office. So it was like maybe 600 square feet of usable space. And we said, let's do it. Let's take it. So we opened our doors in 2014 with 6 people. And back then we thought if we build it, they will come. And we built it and they didn't just come. Right. And
they did not come.
No, they did not. I mean, they trickled in. They did. They
Sure.
2014 is kind of the CrossFit heyday. If some of you in the crowd have been around that long, it was good back then. It's still good. But 14 was kind of like CrossFit was it. Anyway, so I quickly learned that I couldn't just open the doors and people were going to flood in. So I tried to advertise on my own, and I sucked, didn't know what I was doing. And I, didn't get any return on investment. And then back then, I think I've gone further than your question was, but I'm just going to keep going.
Just keep going.
There was a company called Gym Builder, and they paid for all of the ad cost. They paid for everything. The catch was, sorry, I saw a notification. It distracted me.
That's all right.
The catch was out of the $250 6 weeks challenge, we keep 50, Gym Builder keeps 200, but we potentially keep the person. I was like, yes, sign us up. Let's do it. We signed up, I think it was 34 people in 2 weeks with them. Wow. And as soon as they hit the go button on that advertising, it was like every few minutes I was getting a ding, and I was like, oh my God, this does work. I just didn't know what I was doing. Right. And so Here we are, I don't know, 7-8 years later. And I've used a bunch of different companies, and I've learned a ton from a lot. There's a lot of really good companies out there that know what they're doing, but I always wanted to be able to do it myself. And so I've taken a little bit away from everybody, and now I just run my own ads.
Awesome. So how long now have you been running your own ads?
It's intermittent. This last iteration, it's probably been about 2 years, something like that.
Okay. And did you get to a point where you just felt like, okay, I've worked with a variety of companies. At this point, I kind of know the recipe that they use. I'm ready to just step out on my own again and give it another shot to see if I can do it myself.
There's been moments in between the companies where I've done it, and I get really impatient with advertising because it can be frustrating. And if any of
Yeah.
you watching this have used a company, you've probably dealt with it, right? You get these leads and they no show and they cancel on you and just all of this stuff. And it's like there has to be something broken. And so I'll go back and forth between doing it myself and using a company. And the long story short, guys, is there's no magic bullet out there. There really isn't. Um, a really good performing campaign is going to get you about 10% signups. That's like a really good campaign. The part that people fail to think about is that means 90% of the people that opt in are not going to show up. They're gonna ghost you. They're not going to sign, whatever it is, right? They're not going to convert. And so we get hung up on that 90% feeling like the campaign's not working when really it's just a numbers game. 10% is great if
Yeah.
you can scale it up and say, okay, well, I know if I'm going to convert 10%, if I spend X dollars, that means that I'm going to gain 5 members this month from that avenue, or 10 members or 15 members or whatever it is. You just have to be willing to spend the ad dollars to get to that number, because it stays consistent between 5 and 10%, you're going to convert.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think also that idea that, there isn't a magic bullet. You're still going to have to ride the highs and lows. You're still going to get qualified leads and not so qualified leads. So I think having that perspective going into it is probably helpful to hopefully help you stay a little bit more patient. You can certainly tell me if that's the case.
Yeah, it's still a challenge. I still look at my numbers, and when they start to slip, I get impatient and I get antsy, but now I will let it slide. And like, there'll be 3 days where I don't get a lead, and then the next 3 days I get like 5 leads a day. And so it all balances out, you got to be patient.
Do you have a window of time in your mind where you're running something and let's say it's not necessarily generating what you are anticipating, and you say, okay, I'm going to let this go for 2 weeks before I change anything?
2 to 3 weeks is about right. I'll be honest, it's a little stressful when it's, because I have helped gyms in the past, set stuff up. It's stressful when it's someone else's money, right? Because you launch, and typically the stuff that will launch, day one, you're getting leads at that, the benchmarks that we're looking for, the KPIs that you're looking for, $10 to $15 per lead. And when you get to $20 and then 25 and then $30, and it's like, oh crap, like, what's going on? There's so many things, right? Facebook has to learn first and foremost. So you do have to be patient, but it's harder when it's someone else's money that's being spent. When it's my own, yes, I will wait the 2 to 3 weeks, and it always works out. It never hasn't worked out.
Cool. How much time on average do you spend per week towards managing your campaigns?
Once they're running, very little. It's a matter of everything's an app now, right? There's a Facebook ad app that you can go into, and you can see cost per lead, cost per click, like all of that stuff in a snapshot. And so you're talking minutes per day.
So it's really more probably the upfront work in terms of the content of the ad, and then you let it run and go from there.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. What would you suggest in terms of how could someone learn how to do this if they don't have previous experience working with an agency in getting started on creating campaigns?
YouTube is everything, right? You can learn a ton on there. We should probably have time today to actually run through creating an ad from start to finish. And that way it's recorded. You could play it back, put it in slow motion. That's what awesome. I do to teach myself is I'll have a video playing and pause it and do what they did, and then pause it and then do what they did, like that type of thing. So hopefully that will help. But yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of putting in the work of learning it. And once you learn it, guys, again, there's no magic bullet. Like there is there's a ton of value in using one of the companies if you're at a point in your business where you can afford to, spend $1,000 to $1,500 a month on a marketing agency, because they have it all pre-built. They know that it's going to work because they're using it on other gyms. They're going to go in and they're going to do it for you. So there is value in that, but you can do it yourself. You can save that $1,000 to $1,500 a month by just plugging it in.
In taking over this process and managing it yourself, what's the biggest thing that you've learned?
Oh man. I think that magic bullet thing just comes to mind again, right? That there is no, and I think a lot of those companies, while they do know their stuff, they make a lot of really big promises that just aren't true. And that's, you're going to earn all your time back, and you're not going to have to, you're going to work on your business, not in your business. And you're going to get to spend time with it. Honestly, all of that is not true. You're going to work harder. You should be working harder than you ever have before, because the marketing agency ends when the ad is created, and now you're getting the leads, and you're nurturing, and you're following up, and you're double dialing, and you're calling twice a day, and you're texting, and you're doing all of this stuff for weeks on end just to get someone to finally show up in your door, right? And so it is a lot of work, but it pays off because you can fill up your gym doing this.
Yeah. I think you also bring a good point in that the agencies are going to help bring the leads to you, but you still are responsible for having a rock solid sales process in that absolutely as well.
Yeah. And especially if you're going to use a marketing agency, you need to be selling some sort of high ticket offer just to offset the cost of the agency. Right. And so back when I would use, and I dabble in it still, but we would sell $1,400, $1,500 packages for 6 weeks, 9 weeks, that type of thing. So, you get one or two people, and it does pay for the marketing, but you have to be able to know how to sell, that big of a package, because then otherwise you're just getting no's, and it won't do you any good.
So would you recommend, as part of this process, if someone's going to take a stab at launching and managing their own campaigns, that they also refine their sales process, have a, standard operating procedures in place, have that all mapped out as part of the bigger picture?
Absolutely, 100%. And just real quick snapshot, the sales process isn't about the equipment in your gym, or all of the rogue rig, or the really nice Eleiko barbells. Like, people coming in do not give a crap about that. They don't. They have no idea. I don't have any rogue equipment in my gym. I'll say that much. And it just doesn't matter. And in the sales consultation, we don't talk about anything that doesn't pertain directly to the person and their pain points. It's all about the person and why they're sitting across from you. Why are they really sitting across from you? That's what you have to uncover, because then when you can uncover that, they start to see you as the expert and the person that's actually going to be able to help them get past whatever that pain point is.
Yep. I love that. Excellent point. All right, let me go through just a couple more questions, and then you can walk us through some of your content. So since taking over your ad campaigns, what has the return on investment looked like for you?
I haven't gone in and actually done hard numbers recently. And I always refer back to them, and I'll use Lasso as an example. They know their stuff. They are good at what they do. And if you've never used a marketing agency and you're in the market for it, use those guys. They know their stuff. I forgot what we were talking about. Dang it.
Your return on investment.
The return
since
on
you
investment.
Took it over.
It's hard to quantify. The reason is, and that's what I was going to say, is the Lasso guys will tell you this as well, is when you start to advertise, yes, you're going to get people that opt into the ads. You're going to get name, phone number, email, but you're also going to get people that see the ad and be like, the Fit Stop, what is that? They're going to go and they're going to Google the Fit Stop. They're going to end up on our website. They're going to go through all that stuff. Now they're really interested, right? Because they've done their homework, and they're going to either do a rates request or a contact us form, or they'll chat to us with the chat widget. They're coming to us in other ways other than directly from the ad. And so those people, it's hard to quantify exactly
Sure.
what you're getting in from an ad, because a lot of the people go that way. And I will tell you this much, those people that end up on the website from the ad are the best leads out of that bunch, because they're doing their due diligence, they're doing their homework, and they are ready, right? When they finally hit that submit button, they're ready to actually commit to at least showing up to your business. So I guess some numbers, we're not the biggest gym in the world, right? We float, depending on the time of year, between 200 and 225.
Okay.
It's a healthy gym. We have a full staff. My wife and I coach one day or one class a day. One class a week. She coaches one class per week. We don't need to do that. We do that just to stay in the mix and to be a part of the community. I am at the gym all the time, but by choice. I have a full-time salesperson. I have a full-time head coach. We have all of the support staff. And so, the business is healthy. And that's what I would say, quantifiable. Can I give you an exact number? No, but
Sure.
we're in a really healthy place where the business is very healthy, and it has been for a long time. And it's because the advertising, I've been advertising now since 2015, almost straight through in that entire time. So, and
I was just going to ask that. You don't stop, for 6 months and then pick it up again when you notice there's a lull. You just maintain.
I typically do. I'll let it run until it really does slow down, and that will happen. There's, at some point, your target audience has seen your ad a bunch of times, and so you need to change things up. So I will take a break, a week or two there. But that's it. I've been running nonstop for quite a while.
Okay. All right. Last question before we jump into it. What are the biggest pros and cons to managing your gym's campaigns?
The biggest con is there is an extra stress, right? Creating the creative, that's the image or the video, coming up with the copy, like that part of it can be stressful. The pro is you save a ton of money and it's your own thing. And it's a little more gratifying when you're able to do that. But here's the little secret. If you don't know this, you can go on to other gyms' Facebooks, right, and see the ads that they're running, and maybe not necessarily steal their stuff, but I can tell you that I will freely share everything that we run, and then all of a sudden I'll see a marketing agency running that same exact thing, and I'm like, I see you. I see. It's fine. I mean, it's all public source. You can go and you can find it. So there's no shame in that. Like, go on, and stealing is a bad word, but take inspiration,
emulate other people.
That are also doing it, and just see what works. So this is kind of a tangent, but like, you can go to Orange Theory and you can go to 9Rounds, you can go to all those companies and steal inspiration from them. The biggest difference, though, is typically they're advertising. I do some of this, and you'll see this in a second, like just a free week or free day or free trial. And that's a little bit harder to get people in for, because people don't know the Fit Stop name like they know Orange Theory, right? Orange Theory already has that name recognition, so they can get away with some of that. But, finding gyms that are being successful and getting inspiration from them, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that point. I'm a huge believer in that as well. Don't reinvent the wheel, just tweak it and make it your own.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to let you share your screen and we'll go over some content just for the rest of the group. If you guys have questions, you can go ahead and drop them into the Q&A section. And then once we get through some of the information that Rudy shares with us, we can start going through those, but feel free to drop them in as we move along here.
The place, so if you've never advertised before, I think the best starting place for everyone is retargeting campaigns. Now, there is a little bit of setup there, but it's a very low cost, right? So like on my retargeting campaigns, I spend $1 per day. So that's $30 a month. The way that a retargeting campaign works is, I'm sure everyone in this group has gone to Rogue Fitness and looked up a rower or a barbell or whatever, and then you go to social media, Facebook or Instagram, and all of a sudden there's an ad for that specific thing. That is all done through the Facebook pixel. So you ultimately, you need to create a pixel on Facebook, and then you plug that into your website and they track the traffic. So then you're able to turn around, create an audience off of those people, and then you advertise to that audience, right? And so that's retargeting campaigns. So a retargeting campaign, you're re-engaging people that were curious on an ad or have visited your website, right? So for me, primarily, it's just my website. And you can get super granular with this, but if you've never done it, there's no need. Like, for instance, like you can track button clicks. That's how Rogue Fitness knows that you were looking specifically for a rower, because they know that you clicked on it. So then they can send you an ad for that rower. You can do that stuff. For me, I just use page view, right? So when someone shows up on my website, they are now going to get, and this is the Orange Theory style ad, try CrossFit for free. This is actually a GIF. So the first thing that pops up is free. And then the picture kind of moves, and the people don't move because it's an image, but it just kind of flashes. And the whole idea here is, whether you're using a video or an image, you want something that we call is stopping the scroll. You know, people are mindlessly using that thumb going down their feed. You want them to stop, something that catches their eye so that they pay attention. And so then from there, typically, if you were able to catch their eye, they're going to come up and they're going to start reading. This is called ad copy. The ad copy should speak to specific pain points. Are you feeling sluggish and lacking the energy you need to conquer the day? Who doesn't feel that way, right? So you're relating to that person, right? Now they've seen an image they like, and they're reading this and they're saying, that sounds like me, right? And so now you've got them intrigued and interested, but really beyond that, they were already interested because they were already on your website. They were already looking for a place, right? And so that's why this is really powerful. And the really cool thing about this is I'll get a lead from these ads. I'd probably spend about $30 to get a lead. So one a month, that's not a ton, but that one person is going to show up and they are going to sign up every single time. So I'm spending $30 to get a new member, right? So this is the best place, I think, to start advertising, is installing that pixel, creating that audience, and then targeting them with something like that. Oops, I didn't mean to do that.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Of course.
If someone is starting this for the first time, do you suggest starting with just one thing, like do the retargeting ads and just begin with that? Don't go like trying to do everything all in the first moment.
I mean, there isn't a right or wrong answer, but I think that this is a really good place to start. You're not going to get a huge return on investment on this, to be honest, on the retargeting.
Okay.
Because you're not spending a ton of money, and you don't want to spend a ton of money because the audience isn't very big. So then you're just sending the same ad to the same people over and over and over again, and you don't want to do that.
Gotcha.
But this is, as far as dollar for dollar, this is the best that you can do, because like I said, I'll spend $30 and I'll get a new member, and that's killer. Like,
yep.
If you could replicate that over and over again, we'd all have 500-person gyms, right? So
yeah.
I think
Secret
that this
sauce.
is where this is really where people should start. And it also gets you into the system, gets you creating, and helps you understand the process of actually doing all of that. And then you can and you're only spending $1 a day, right? And so then you can go from there and you can start spending the bigger bucks. Me personally, I spend $40 to $50 a day in advertising consistently. So about $1,500 a month in advertising spend.
Okay.
So, cold lead ads. This is what all the marketing agencies talk about. You're advertising to a wide net, right? Now, a lot of those agencies will say that they promise you only qualified leads and, the best people for your business, all of that. That's just talk. Now you can narrow it down, right? But as far as like getting super specific on the audience, you really don't need to or want to. You want to keep it as broad as possible. Keep it within a range. So like for me, it's our gym is the pin, and then it's a 5-mile radius around that. And that's it. That's the only kind of thing that I do. Now, when I'm running a Fit Over 30, Fit Over 40, Then it's okay. So it's the plus 5 miles, 30 to 39 female, and they're getting these images, right? This particular ad campaign is what I've been running for probably the last 9 months, and my cost per lead is about $13. I am actually getting about, depending on the month, 7 to 10 people signed up doing this. Yeah,
Nice.
so it's been really good, and the same things hold true with the retargeting campaigns. Is you want something that will stop the scroll, right? Something that looks nice, and then you want the copy to speak to them. I'm 30, I'm out of shape, I want to get in shape. What is this thing that they're talking about? You want them to be curious. So that's what this is all about. So cost per lead, you want it to be $15 to $25, somewhere in that range. 25 is a little high. I get uncomfortable when it gets that high. Like I was saying, this campaign in particular has been running at, I think it's like $13.50 is what I'm at. And I do 30s and 40s. I haven't even touched 50s, to be honest. So that is what I'm currently running.
Do you use, so I'm one of those people that gets paralysis by analysis, right? So if I'm creating like a social media post, I will literally be there for 45 minutes, like just humming and hawing over an image itself.
Yeah.
How caught up in that part of it do you get, or are there hacks that you use to get the content and the images that you're using quickly so you're not wasting time on the creative part?
There is a hack but it starts with you consistently posting organically, right? Getting on Instagram and Facebook and posting. So when you're ready to create an ad, you can go through your Instagram or Facebook and look for the posts that have resonated really well, that have gotten a lot of
I
likes
love that.
or hearts or whatever, because you know
Yep.
that people related to that image. So then you use that image for the actual advertising.
That's a great idea.
So from here, right? So the advertising is just one piece of the puzzle. You do need a CRM, and shameless plug, Grow is phenomenal. If you are not on Grow, Grow is built on Go High Level. Go High Level is the software. Grow is built on top of that. Go High Level is big and robust, and you can do all of these things with it. And so I've been using Go High Level for many years now. I started using Grow recently, probably 6 months ago, something like that. I wish I had started way earlier because everything is synced together, right? So when someone signs up for a free trial on a core landing page, they're automatically sent to Grow, and there's automations and there's sent messaging, and all of this stuff is happening behind the scenes where you don't have to manually input. So Grow is phenomenal, but you don't have to use Grow. But you do need to use something, right? So using a CRM is critical if you're going to advertise, because even if you're just getting one lead per day, that's 30 over the course of a month, right? That's a ton of people that you should be double dialing, right? If you don't know what double dial is, it's probably happened to you. A phone number pops up on your phone, they're calling you and you don't recognize it, so you hit end. And then all of a sudden they're calling again. You're like, this might be important. Pick it up. That's double dialing, right? And then it's just an advertiser or whatever. But that's how you get people to pick up the phone, is calling them twice back to back. They're going to pick up on the second time almost every time. Anyway, you should be doing that stuff. So using a CRM is critical so that you stay organized. You know what station or what place they are in the journey, the lead journey. So like for us in our pipeline, we have new leads. So someone just popped into the system. We have hot leads. So we're having conversations with them, but they haven't quite committed to coming in. And then appointment booked, appointment showed, signed up. Like you have all of the visuals where all of these people are. So using a CRM of some sort, if you're not doing it and you want to advertise, this is actually step number one, is find a quality CRM that you will actually use. So kind of circling back to the retargeting thing. If you don't have any idea what any of this stuff is, First of all, you do need to be able to get into the business suite of Facebook. If you don't know how, actually, let's just do this. Let's go to my Facebook and I will walk you through. Here we go. I was looking at Hitches earlier. Let's go. Let's start from the actual Facebook. Okay, so you need to be on your Facebook, not on your business's Facebook, nothing like that. Over here on the left-hand side, you see Ads Manager. If that doesn't pop up, hit See More. It'll be somewhere in here. If you have that business suite, click onto Ads Manager, and then you're going to click on All Tools. Events Manager is where that pixel lives. You can see that there. You can also see it right down here. So when we click on it, I already have a pixel, right? So there is no generate a pixel, but it's super simple. Just follow the prompts to create the pixel. I always forget to go to the Fit Stop. Once your pixel is created, let's let this populate. It's only when we're on video, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Inevitably, yes.
Let's go to Fit Stop Pixel. Okay, so once it's created, you'll see this page, and this is actually the performance of the pixel on my website. So you can see we get some pretty decent traffic to our website. You're going to go to Add Events from a new website. Install code manually is the easiest thing to do. You're going to copy this code. If you're in Grow, all you have to do is go to Toy Box, plug that in and say, hey, do me a favor, plug in my Facebook pixel for me. They're going to add that to your website and you are in business. You're tracking. If you're not on Grow and you're hosting your own website, then you're just going to plug it into the header section of your website. That's where the code goes. If you don't know what that is, just YouTube it. It should be easy. Or if you use someone else that hosts your website, you can send it to whomever that person is. Now you're tracking. From there, you have to let some of that traffic generate, right? It's not just going to instantaneously populate, but then you can go to back to the three little bars and audiences. And now we're going to create an audience. You're going to create a custom audience. The source is the website. And then you're just going to tell it what pixel. Say I'm back in another account again. I've got a bunch of ad accounts. That won't happen to you because you're only going to have one. I'll just show you this real quick. Facebook, why are you doing that? There we go. Create audience, custom audience, website. You're going to see the Fit Stop pixel. That's what we want. We want all website visitors. You can, get a little more granular there. Last, I usually do 90 days. You can start to exclude people, like you can upload your member list and exclude that list so that your members aren't getting it. You don't need to waste your advertising dollars on your current members. So you can do stuff like that. You're going to name the audience. And so now when you go to create an ad, you're going to use that audience plus 5 miles because people could be looking at your website from outside that 5 miles. So those are the two filters, and then you create the ad and you're good to go.
Nice.
It's easy. Should we, what do you think? Should we, and are there any questions to be answered, or do you want to go through creating an ad?
Let's go through, let's see what questions we have here. So you mentioned copying other gyms' ads. Would love to see how you do that process.
Yeah. So you're going to go to Facebook again. Let's open a new tab. You're going to search for a gym that you know is advertising. Let's go to Orange Theory. Orange Theory. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see page transparency. See all. go to ad library. And if they're running ads, Orange Theory is actually not running any ads right now. They would populate here.
Like
so oh no, they are.
Facebook's
So,
taking its time to load.
yeah. Apparently.
Interesting.
Let's see if we can get one of these to play. They're being kind of stubborn, but crap. You can click on see ad details. Are you going to play for me? You're being stubborn. But you can see the call to action down here, the different images that they're using, if they're videos or not, the copy. Like you see everything that you need to see. So you can go to any business, and if they're advertising, they're going to be there in the ad area.
Nice. What form of media do you feel works best for your ads? Videos, images?
That is a great question. I am a huge fan of video. I have a media guy on staff. Our Instagram, shameless plug again, our Instagram is phenomenal because of him. Those fancy videos that he creates and the fancy images are not what convert. And it's crazy to think that I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. It's crazy to think that really basic ads perform the best. So ultimately, when you create an ad, you want to give Facebook a bunch of options. So different images, different text, they mix and match and they create their own, like whatever is going to convert the best, right? And so then you can come over here and we're going to look at it by the different images. And I don't know if y'all can see this very well, but in this one grouping, right, you've got an image that I love. It's one of our members running. And then you have just blank text, right? These other three are blank text. Look at the one that easily does the best.
Oh, wow.
At $10.43. Everything else is non-existent. And that holds true across every iteration. The text only wins every single time. Every single time. I'm not saying don't use images, don't use videos, but use it as a bigger campaign, right? Because the people that see this will eventually see that. And I'm impartial. I want these images to be shown. So just so you can kind of see, it's still kind of hard to see, but let me see if I can pull it up somewhere. Let's go to Canva real quick. I build everything in Canva, by the way.
Same. If you don't have Canva, definitely check it out. It's such an awesome resource and super easy to navigate, in my opinion.
So like this image, for instance, I love this image. She's smiling, she's happy. The kettlebell looks cool. And it doesn't perform as well. These images don't perform as well as this stuff. This
That's
stuff always
crazy.
wins. Yeah, right?
I'm glad you point that out, though, because I know even for myself, my inclination would be to use all images probably. Yeah. So that's good to know that going forward. One last question here, and then we have like 20 minutes left. So I think, is that enough time to run through?
I think so.
Creating one? Okay. Brandon asked, does Grow have all of the same functionalities as the regular Go High Level, specifically thinking about things like the call text capabilities?
Yes, it
Great
does.
question.
Out of the box, we don't include everything only because Go High Level, like I said earlier, is so robust. It's so big that it can be overwhelming, right? And when something's overwhelming, value goes two ways. Either something is like this Grow isn't expensive, but something has so much value and I'm only using 40% of it. So I'm not going to use it anymore because I'm not, using, it to its fullest extent. But you shouldn't think that way, first of all. But second of all, so we allow you to access some of the other stuff, by request, and it's not an extra cost or anything like that. You gotta ask for it. But yes, it has the full go high level functionality.
Yeah, good point. And we found that phasing things in by
Mhm.
pieces
Yeah.
helps it to feel less overwhelming. And ultimately, you're kind of able to add a little bit more and a little bit more. So you are realizing that full value of it. That was a good question. Let's go ahead and start walking through creating one of the ads.
Let's do it. So if I go too fast, just know that y'all can watch this back and kind of, recreate. So once you're in the ad manager, the easiest place to start is right here at the create button. You're going to use the leads option. Let me move all this stuff out of the way. We're going to manual leads campaign, sorry. And then you're just going to go through the steps. You want to name it something that you'll remember. You don't need to choose a category. You don't need to A/B test. You do want the budget turned on, set that to what you want it. And then on the next screen, instant forms, I'm a big fan of. That's a Facebook native form. The less clicks someone has to do, the more likely you're going to get that name, phone number, email. So that's why instant forms wins.
Rudy, when you first started doing these, did you have like a smaller budget that you initially started with and then kind of grew bigger and bigger?
I think $10 a day was what I started with just because it was scary.
Yeah,
But when you realize that whether it's 10 or 50, the percentages stay the same, then you're going to be a little more willing to spend the money because you're going to get the return.
gotcha.
Yep. So Instagram page, you want to make sure that's plugged in. Dynamic creative, always turn that one on. I'll show you why in a little bit. So the audience, let's say we're creating the Fit for 30, right? So location, don't be one of those people that forgets to do this, because then I'm getting your ad from New York and that makes zero sense. Right? So you can X that out. You can either search for your business name or the address. You can see that we actually pop up. Then I'm going to go 5 miles. So there's me in San Antonio. We're doing 30 to 35, so we'll change that or 39, excuse me. 30 to 39. This one's going to be for female. You don't need to necessarily save the audience unless you're going to use it for other stuff. And then this is where you create the ad. So single image or video, but you're going to have multiple images, right? And so if you go to select image, you're probably not going to have anything here because you haven't populated anything. So you'll upload from your website, and then you can select up to 10 images.
Nice.
Okay, continue. All of those populate. Then you're going to do text. This is where the ad copy goes, testing, whatever. And then another variation, testing 2, testing 3. So then now what's happening is Facebook is learning, right, what combinations of images and ad copy work the best, and they start serving that up. You don't need any of this. Call to action, I like learn more just because it's not as scary as sign up. People are more likely to click on learn more. And then you're probably going to have to create a form because you're not going to have anything here, but just so you can kind of see what mine looks like. So I have a background image, 30 is the new 20, give some information. You're ultimately going to, I guess it's not going to let me do it that way. You're asking for name, phone number, email right there. You do need a privacy policy. If you have a grow website, all you have to do is go to that privacy page. There is one on your website. Grab that URL and plug that in right there. And then completion, what do you want them to do? So are you wanting them to book themselves into an appointment? You can do that. That's actually what I do here. This is a grow calendar. I'll show you that real quick. A lot of people don't book themselves. That's okay. But giving them the option is kind of nice. So take a tour. That's the name of that little appointment, so they can pick a time and all of that. So once that is done, you're actually done. Did I lose my place? Where am I at? Where did Facebook go here? So once your form is created, you're just going to hit publish, and Facebook is going to go through an approval process and you're good to go. The other thing you do need to do though, is you've got to go to grow and you've got to tell if you're on grow, right? Let's go to my Fit Stop. You've got to tell grow to read those forms. So you'll come down to settings, integrations. If you're not already integrated with your Facebook, you're going to do that here. Once that's done, you'll come to Facebook form fields mapping, and your forms will populate, right? So that fit over 30, that one we were just looking at, that's right here. You got to turn that on. All this is doing is it's telling it to read the different fields, the name, the phone, the email. Once that's done, you come over to automations. I created a folder. It's just ad leads, Facebook leads. You can see here, gotten a bunch of people, 389 leads in the last, since, I don't know, February, I guess. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell the workflow to read that form, right? And so Facebook lead form submitted. Let's start from the beginning. Add new trigger. You can type in Facebook. It'll populate. You're going to add a filter. Which form are you reading? Doesn't really matter. You save trigger, right? And so then what do you want the system to do? We want it, that doesn't matter. It's a creator update opportunity. That's the pipeline stuff. Internal notification. I need to know that we have a new lead, right? So I'm actually sending that to all users. Custom values, contact name, phone number, email is a new lead from Facebook ad. Okay, we're adding tags. We're doing all this stuff. Ultimately, we are sending them an email. We're sending them a text. I missed the first text message. They're getting this one. But my salesperson, within minutes, they're picking up the phone and they're calling that person. Within 5 minutes, if you can get to your phone, you should be on the phone calling whomever just came in from that ad. That's when they are the hottest. You build this out as much as you want to, right? But ultimately, this first part where you're assigning them and you're notifying your employees and you're sending them an automated text message, that stuff should be for sure, but you can do more if you want.
Now, Rudy, that made me think of something. So I was actually on a call with a client yesterday who's running their own Facebook ads right now. And we got into talking how often they follow up with them in their sales process. And they said, well, we try to follow up 3 or 4 times. And then if we don't hear anything from them, we'll move on to the next lead, which I think brings up a really good point. What is your average threshold, I would say, for following up with a lead before you decide to abandon it?
For the first 10 days, 2 phone calls and a text message every single day. Every single day for the first 10 days. If they get past that 10 days, then they go into another lead nurture where they're getting emails and like automated text messages and stuff like that. And they'll get special offers, like probably like 6 weeks in, we send them a body scan for $19, normally $129. They can come in, get a nutrition plan and the body scan and all this stuff. And people do like that. It'll be a person that never once responded to your calls or text messages. They'll sign up for that. And when they show up, they sign up for the gym every single time. So
that's awesome.
You can do stuff like that.
Which is, I think, good to point out, because as you said earlier, there isn't like a magic bullet. You're going to have some things that work for this small group, some things that pull in this group of people. We did have another question that came through. John asked, do you run Google ads to drive traffic to your site? Great question.
I've played with Google ads. I am not the Google ad expert. I mean, it's probably a situation like where I was at the beginning of Facebook ads. I just don't know quite what I'm doing, to be honest. But I've never found, not necessarily that I don't have success. It's not quantifiable success like I can see on Facebook. Like I see the lead cost and just all of the information. And I just, yes, it will drive traffic. It's more expensive per person. And I think that Facebook and Instagram, you're able to track better. So then you're able to scale more.
Yeah. And there's definitely, I know internally, we've talked about things that our grow clients can do to increase SEO, like blog posts and things like that. So those are some different things you can also use to help drive traffic. Also goes back to that YouTube thing, right?
It's there's no magic bullet. You've got to have a good quality website with plenty of call to actions. Your SEO needs to be on point. You need a CRM like Grow. You need to be advertising. You need a quality sales process. You need a good onboarding process. There's not one answer. There never will be one answer to filling up your gym. You've got to have your ducks in a row. That's it.
Yeah. I love that. I think that helps bring us full circle. And certainly if there are pieces of that anyone here feels like they need help with, whether it's the onboarding, the sales process, the advertising, certainly our team here at PushPress, the success team for sure, support team, et cetera, are here to help you guys work through that and refine those processes so that you can move forward. I think we're pretty good on questions. So I'm going to go ahead and give everybody 7 minutes back. Rudy, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I love that we recorded it. We had over 100 people sign up, so they'll be able to listen to the recording and follow your steps and hopefully start implementing this.
It was fun. Let's do it again. Let's talk about it next time.
I know we still got to get through that sales process. So, all right. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
See ya.